Picture a society where every student with the drive and ability to succeed could pursue a higher education, not because they can afford it, but because they've earned the opportunity to. In today's society, a college degree opens doors to better job opportunities, higher incomes, and a stronger economy. Yet for millions of students, that door stays closed, not because of the lack of talent or drive, but because of the cost. College should be free not just as an ideal, but as a practice, but as a practical, powerful investment towards our future as a whole. Today, I'll explain why eliminating the financial barriers to college students is not only a fair, but essential for individuals, communities, and our society. Right now, millions of people graduate with massive student loans. The debt that a student collects later delays major life decisions. With less debt and student loans, young adults can invest more freely in their futures and focus on more things like buying a home or starting a business or even starting a family. These are some things I value and would like to be able to afford in the future with the rise in prices. With less debt, there is more consumer spending, which fuels the economy. When people have more access to higher education, the workforce becomes more skilled for jobs such as paramedics, firefighters, police officers, electricians, and plumbers. A better educated workforce is more productive, innovative, and adaptive to any economic change. In addition to strengthening the economy, free college education plays a powerful role in significantly improving social mobility for individuals that want to move up the social economic ladder. No matter your background, this allows an equal playing ground for all classes in society to thrive for success. For many low-income and first-generation students, the high cost of college is a barrier that locks them in a cycle of poverty. I relate to being a first-generation college student trying to better my education in an attempt to break this cycle. Doing so allows students like me to earn degrees, to access better paying jobs, and build a more secure future by becoming more financially independent for themselves and their families. A college education helps ensure that success isn't only reserved for the privileged. This would help close racial and social economic gaps in education by making higher education more attainable for historically marginalized communities, which is also a step towards a more equal future, eliminating racial discrimination towards minorities. Free college education doesn't just benefit individual students, it offers a powerful public good that benefits society as a whole. When more people are educated, communities become stronger, healthier, and more stable. An educated population is more likely to participate in civil life, volunteer, vote, and engage positively in their local communities. In an article published in 2022 by Daniel Rifkin at the University of Michigan, explained that crime rates decrease, public health improves, and reliance on social welfare declines. He states that students who attend better funded schools were 15% less likely to be arrested by the age of 30. These are not just personal wins, they're shared gains that improve quality of life for everyone. Free college education is an investment, not just for the young students, but also supports lifelong learning, giving adults a chance to return to school and adapt to an ever-changing job market. This also reduces incarcerated rates by offering an alternative life path for individuals who might be prone to a life of crime due to the obstacles that seem impossible to overcome based on their upbringing or the social economic state of the world. This would save taxpayer dollars in the process. Free college education allows a more connected and sustainable society and keeps our economy globally competitive. It's a policy that uplifts everyone, not just those who attend. Many people would argue that the cost doesn't just disappear. It would shift from students to taxpayers. In order to cover the expense of providing free tuition to millions of students, the government would need to raise billions of dollars a year. This kind of money can only come from higher taxes. As time goes on, whether it's through income taxes, corporate taxes, which eventually affect the consumer, we will bear the financial weight every day, leading to an even greater tax burden. This is a reality almost impossible to overlook as time goes on. And if our government fails to regulate this system responsibly, as we have seen with the budget for the government in our military, there will be other serious consequences, such as the national debt would increase. When tax revenue fails to fund such an ambitious organization, the government would have to resort to borrowing money, adding to an already existing federal deficit. Over time, the growing national debt would weaken the economy, reduce our ability to invest in other services, and burden future generations in the cost of today's decisions. Without strict oversight and sustainable funding strategies, free college could be yet another strain on our country's financial stability. Now, some may argue that free college education would strain taxpayers and drive up the national debt, but let's reconsider this perspective. Funding a higher education wouldn't just be a cost. It is a promising investment in this country's future. As I said before, this would be a long-term investment. Having a society that has a higher form of education means higher incomes, stronger jobs, stronger job markets. Having a society that has a higher form of education means higher incomes, stronger job markets, and increased tax contributions over time. Research consistently shows that the economic benefit of public investment in education often outweighs the initial cost. With careful policy choices like eliminating tax loopholes from people such as the 1%ers in America, we can expand access to college without jeopardizing our healthcare or weighing down on everyday taxpayers. There have been many countries that put free or low-cost college into practice, such as Germany, Finland, France, and Austria, that have proven this model can be economically sustainable paired with proper planning. Adopting these policies reduces student debt, freeing young adults to invest in goals of having businesses, ultimately stimulating economic growth rather than constraining it. There are multiple studies that show every dollar invested in education has several dollar economic output. The ROI on free college education is the most effective than any other form of public spending. While concerns about cost are valid, free college education is not just an ideal, but a strategic investment that empowers individuals, strengthens the workforce, and fuels long-term economic growth. It reduces student debt, allowing young adults to pursue and focus more on major life goals like starting families, buying homes, and launching businesses. By expanding access to higher education, we promote social mobility, close opportunity gaps, and build a more equitable society. At the end of the day, making college free isn't about helping a few students, it's about understanding the true potential of this nation. As we tear down barriers to our education, we not only open doors for individuals, but for anyone who strives for success. We're building a smarter, more efficient, sustainable society, and that's an investment worth making.